Muting.
Lots to talk about in the world of high school sports, college sports, pro sports, all kind of tied back to the city of Houston. But welcome back. We haven't been around a couple weeks.
It's been like, what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, Brian Peroni of 24/7 Sports was really good. He gave us some great insight on some guys.
He sees so many guys.
He does.
His phone must be ridiculous. Does he have two phones? I should have asked him. He has to have two phones. Like Adam Scheftering it, right?
He could. But he takes a lot of video and photos and stuff of kids when he's out there also. But he's been out and about. He was really cool to have on just to talk about some of the prospects in Houston, looking back what, kids have come through here in the state of Texas and the Aggies and how well they're doing. So that leads us to everybody's talking about it right now. Is the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, I love the NFL draft.
Well,
I love college recruiting. I love the NFL draft.
Yeah. It's funny because all these experts, we watch it. For weeks and weeks, they're like, this kid's going to do this. And then draft nights, it's going to all blow up because someone's going to make a ridiculous trade and move up and stuff. But I think the thing that's crazy about this year's draft is the fact that pretty much it's a set lock that the top 3-4 picks are going to be quarterbacks.
And that's good because you have to have a quarterback to have the face of the team. Mac Jones is going to be good, I think.
Is it crazy to you that Mac Jones is elevating as high as he is? It's almost the Joe Burrow effect, right? Like going into the national championship season, everyone was like, "Oh, it's Joe Burrow guy." Then Joe Burrow had the season he had, and then he was the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah. Mac Jones just doesn't have that swag to him. But he's so good.
He's a system quarterback, though. When you look at him, he fits the NFL. He can fit into the NFL.
What I do love about him is he is on time with his throws, and he's very accurate and puts the ball in the hands of where his receivers and running backs want it. That's so important. But he's done a tremendous job climbing the ladder. But let's talk about Houston guys.
Yeah.
Okay, we have Episcopal. Is going to have 3 guys get drafted. Not in the first round because that's been blown out of the water.
Yeah.
But we've got Jalen Waddle from Alabama. He's definitely a first rounder, probably a top 12, 15 pick.
I would say so, yeah.
Then you have Marvin Wilson, the big defensive tackle at Florida State. Mm-hmm. He is maybe, I'd say third round is probably the best for him.
Yeah.
Then you got Walker Little, who went to Stanford, hadn't played in 2 years because of, the nutty Pac-12, and he sat out
he got injured 1 year, and then the whole we're not going to play football happened, but then we're going to play football, and at that point he was like, well, I'm just going to
That may have backfired on him a little bit. So those 3 guys from Episcopal.
Yeah.
Riddle me this. Mm-hmm. What is the next school that will have the most NFL draft picks this season?
I know the answer to this because it's a crazy one. It's a Fort Bend school, isn't it?
Nope.
What?
It's a Conroe ISD school.
Oh, no.
Yeah. The Oak Ridge War Eagles. Yeah. What? It's not the Woodlands, who everybody thinks will be the Woodlands.
No,
no one
Ridge thinks that. You only think that.
Has 2. Everyone thinks that.
No.
Oak Ridge has 2 guys that will be drafted that are going to make NFL teams. Number 1 is Joseph Osai from a beast at University of Texas as a linebacker.
Yep.
To think that he played alongside Grant Stewart, who is a Energizer bunny on the field. He was at U of H. He's also going to get drafted. He's the kind of kid, I remember doing stuff on him. He was in the choir and the band. He was like Mr. Oak Ridge. He did 10 different clubs and stuff. Great kid. So watch out for Grant Stewart. But 2 guys from Oak Ridge High School going to get drafted and stick on teams.
Yeah, Joseph Osai is definitely that next-gen linebacker. He's just big. I mean, being a Texas Tech fan, I had to watch Joseph Osai tear apart our team, which was great. Grant Stewart. Also, you forgot to say Mr. Hair. I mean, his hair is ridiculous. Awesome hair. Which he'll probably get an endorsement just because of the hair. Yeah, I mean, that shows you how good that defense was those years that they were both on that defense. Because Grant Stewart's not really that big of a guy, but he
could be a safety. He could play multiple positions.
He has that motor that you really like.
How about potentially the highest draft pick is an interesting guy named Rashawn Slater, who played at Fort Bend Clements.
Yep.
Not a powerhouse. His dad played in the NBA for probably 15 years. He's an offensive lineman. He went to Northwestern. I'm hearing a lot of buzz around the Cowboys potentially taking defense, but it doesn't hurt to have the best offensive lineman in the class.
Well, and for the Cowboys too, they've lost so many offensive linemen. Yeah. The massive offensive line that they built through the draft years ago is pretty much decimated now due to retirement or injury or trade. But it's interesting because you get another Fort Bend guy because what was it last year? Fort Bend Elkins. They had they had a guy.
2 guys, Kenneth Murray.
Yep.
And Ross Blacklock.
Fort Bend ISD.
Boom.
Been out.
They got some kids.
They got some NFL. I mean, you want to talk about NFL pipeline? It comes out of Fort Bend ISD in Houston.
The problem with Fort Bend ISD is that there's too many schools. They have 11 high schools.
Yeah.
If you combine those to, let's say 6, or let's say 8, there would be some tremendous teams come out of Fort Bend ISD. They're just so diluted because they have so many different. But
this shows you, the NFL
schools.
draft shows you how much talent is in that district.
Sure.
I mean, and then you can think about even years down the road, whenever Devon Chain is a NFL running
for
back.
Sure.
And coming out of Fort Bend Marshall. And you'll get some more guys out of Fort Bend Marshall over the years.
Yeah, so this is going to be a really cool draft to see kind of who else is coming out of the Houston area. I think we had mentioned 7 or 8. Jamad Osborne, who played at Episcopal for a little bit before going to IMG. He's another guy that's going to get drafted. The linebacker from Katy.
Patty.
Patty Fisher. Patty Fisher is another guy from Northwestern.
Yep.
That is going to be drafted as well.
Yeah, he'll probably get drafted. I was talking to our good friend Dennis Silva over in the Katy area. He had a great conversation with Patty. It looks like he'll probably be a late 7th rounder,
right?
Probably, kind of all that fringe guy. But he's a guy that's going to work his way onto an NFL roster for sure.
Okay, I know you're obsessed with this.
Okay.
The Wnba Draft. I
was all obsessed about this.
He was about the Wnba Draft. Cool story. Charlie Collier, we followed her forever. Thoughts of her being the number 1 pick?
It's not a surprise. I mean, when you saw her kind of like her journey, and you saw more of her journey through high school than I did. I mean, Charlie Collier, I think, is probably the only person ever in the history of Vype that was in 5 consecutive basketball and preview magazines, because she made her debut as an 8th grader, and then she was in it for the next 4 years. She was on the cover 2 years. Then she goes number 1 overall. Now, granted, she had to put in a lot of work at Texas, too, to become...
She did.
She had all the intangibles. She had the length. She had the size. I mean, she was dominating in high school. Like, you talk to... I talked to Virginia Flores for that story about the Wnba draft, and she said, yeah, it's just you knew she had the potential to be a number 1 overall pick. But to be the number 1 overall pick is unbelievable because, I mean, you're number 1 overall.
I know. That's awesome.
Like, that's so awesome for her and her family. And, I mean, think about that family. Casey is playing offensive line at USC.
Yeah, and he's playing.
Right now, Charlie's on to the Dallas Wings, where she'll be a big key piece to that team. Another player that got drafted this year's Dede Richards, another Vype cover girl.
Yes.
Went number 17 overall to the New York Liberty out of Baylor, won a national championship there, took Cy Ranch to the state finals back in her playing days.
I'd just like to add real quick, this is producer Scott off camera. Baylor probably would have beaten UConn if Dede Richards didn't get hurt in that Elite 8 game.
I remember that.
So,
yeah.
Big shouts to Dede Richards and the Baylor Bears. Also won a men's national championship. No big deal.
He's gonna
2021.
He's gonna slide that in every single.
I don't blame him.
Every
I
single
can't
show.
blame him.
Every single one. So really cool there. WNBA.
How about the younger brothers? Okay, you had Casey Collier.
Yeah.
Who is playing? I did not think he was going to be this good, but he is actually really doing well at USC.
You remember he was originally committed to Minnesota,
dude. He hadn't played a lot of football.
No.
So he's huge, but he just didn't. He wasn't like that aggressive guy.
No.
And he didn't play a lot of football. Anyways, he's done a tremendous job. Now, you had Dede Richards. Younger brother is DJ Richards at Cy Creek.
Yeah.
Who has had a really great high school career also. I don't think he's signed yet. But he's a guy that's going to play college basketball. But what I love about those two girls, super classy kids and super classy families also. They've done a great job. You wrote in the story also, which is really cool, that the city of Houston had 3 consecutive, was 3 in a row?
It was 2012, 2013, 2014.
They had Nneka Ogwumike, Shanae Ogwumike, Brittany Griner, all in a row, all the number 1 draft picks, all from the city of Houston. Boom. Charlie Collier is the next one.
Adding to the list.
That's pretty good.
You'll have to go frame one of those 2 magazines that you have to add them to your wall of fame.
Yes.
Here in the Vype North Houston office.
Question for Matt Malatesta,
yes.
Co-founder of Vype magazine.
Co-founder.
Been doing this for a long time. Charlie Collier compared to the Harrison twins, who was in a Vype magazine more?
They were
had the Harrison twins up
actually
for a while.
equal. They both were in 8th grade.
Okay.
We had the Harrison twins who went to Travis. Harrison twins had
straight Jesuit.
They went to straight Jesuit,
and then Travis.
Then to Travis, then to Kentucky, I don't know how their game did not translate to the NBA. But it just really
gone.
Hasn't.
No, I mean, I don't.
To your point, Josh, that just shows how deep an NFL draft is. Imagine the NBA players when the rosters are even smaller.
And it's weird, like people like Daniel House will be on a
and you have to
wonder all the time from Hightower, who is another Vype cover boy.
And you have to wonder too if the G League would have been as big back then as it is now, like the investment that they've made into it now, that might have made a difference for the Harrison twins. Like they might have found a home a little easier.
They were so good in high school, and then you had De'Aaron Fox come after him, who is a superstar now. But it's really cool to see where these guys end up, guys and girls, and then the NFL will just be another kind of bumper crop this upcoming season. Moving to the college game, staying local with Houston kids. There should be a lot of kids that are marked in the college game, none more so possibly than Auburn's Demetrius Davis from North Shore. Tell us what you saw at the spring game.
It's weird because, 3 months ago we were watching him play in a state semifinal?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm holding this up because I'm worried this mic's about to fall.
There's a good chance it might, just for the record.
If people are wondering why I'm holding it this way.
You look great.
So Demetrius Davis, he played North Shore, and then, I was scrolling through Twitter on Saturday, and I kept seeing this, Auburn A-Day. Everyone's got different, names for spring games. Also, I started seeing Demetrius Davis's name pop up, and I saw a video, and it was him just hurling this 42-yard laser down the field, down the sideline for a catch, and I think he had a rushing touchdown as well. He had another 10-yard rush, and I didn't watch the whole game, but it was pretty neat to see him, playing and stuff. Of course, Bo Nix will be the starter for Auburn this year, but Demetrius will be right there, and pretty exciting to see him, and just kind of all the positive stuff that's come out of Auburn since he's arrived. Another guy close to home for you at LSU, Dwight McLaughlin had a big spring game. Their coach is very happy with him. They think he's going to be a pretty big part of their defensive unit this year at LSU. Yeah,
Klein Oak grad. Sticking with Klein Oak has hired a new head football coach. Jason Glenn has taken another role inside of Klein ISD. Thoughts on the new coach? What do we know about him?
Yeah, so Brandon Carpenter was the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach for the last 4 years. He came in with Glenn back in 2017, so he's been there, kind of building that culture and stuff. I don't think it's any surprise that he's the head coach. I think when Glenn moved into the role that he moved into, he probably was like, hey, this is the guy that's going to be, the next head coach. But, getting some quotes from Jason Glenn and stuff, they say he's a better man than he is a coach, and just the culture he has there. So I'm pretty excited. I think the guys will be pretty excited because you don't have any transition. It's just essentially he's just now the head coach.
Yeah. I can't wait to use that quote when I talk about you and Scott. They're just better guys than they are writers and producers. I just want to use that.
Thank you. That shows we hire quality people here by humble brag.
Right.
That's a great quote. That's a quote.
Everybody uses that quote.
Everybody uses that quote. They're a better guy than
the coach or a player.
But that's a good thing, though. At the end of the day, that's what you want to be known for, as a better person than.
Yeah, we don't want any Rick Pitino situations over here.
Ayo.
Or anything like that. Great coach, not a great person.
True.
Moving on.
So, all right. Nimitz has hired a new basketball coach, Tige Rideau. Great basketball name, dude. Great basketball name. Tige Rideau.
That's Tigee?
Yes.
Okay.
So they have some tremendous talent over at Nimitz in coming up in the Nimitz basketball world. He is from Hampshire Fannett. And you're like, what? Hampshire Fannett? That sounds like I don't even know where that is. It's in Southeast Texas. He was on the state championship team that went 36-0 at Beaumont Ozan. Their center at the time was a sophomore named Kendrick Perkins, who played in the league. As we know, he's on ESPN all the time. He's got quite a resume. He was actually Kendrick Perkins' manager for almost a decade. And then he worked at Hampshire Fannett, was their coach. They had been 13 and 70 over the past 4 or 5 years before they got there. And he made them into a power virtually overnight. Within 18 months, they were in the playoffs and set school records for wins. So Dre Thompson, the AD at Aldine ISD, big fine, getting a big fine with Tige Rideau, who's going to be the new head coach at Nimitz. Also, there's been a change at Concordia Lutheran. They've hired a new volleyball coach over there. That name escapes me, but it'll come to my brain here in a second, which is kind of cool also.
Yeah, it's a big program to take over, too. Very successful over the past few years. The recruits they've had come out of there. Brooke Frazier, who went to Texas A&M, who's at Texas A&M now. And Sophia Keene, I think she's back next year. She's going to Baylor. So good program to take over there. So that's going on.
And then let's talk a little.
There's other spring sports
track going on. Yeah, track is big right now.
Can I chime in real quick before we get the track? So there's also, speaking of college basketball games, some big news in the transfer portals. Some Houston Christian kids announcing that they're transferring. Yeah. Savah Wheeler. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Severe
Wheeler.
You were close.
He is entering the Wnba Draft, former Vype cover boy.
True.
As well as entering the transfer portal, kind of like the double whammy of keeping the eligibility, but clearly he's leaving Georgia.
Well,
what y'all think about that?
Maybe.
And also Miller Kopp, sorry, going to Indiana.
Yeah, so Severe Wheeler put it out on Twitter this morning that, he is going to enter the NBA draft, but keep his college eligibility. He's going to enter the transfer portal, look at his options. But he said there he'll continue to look at Georgia. So I think it's more or less he's just going to keep all his options open. A lot of NBA guys, Carson Edwards did this. He entered the NBA draft. He pulled his name out late just to see, and then the next year he ended up getting drafted to the Boston Celtics. Miller Kopp leaving Northwestern. I mean, this is a good pickup for Indiana. I mean, he averaged about 11 points a game last year, about 3 rebounds a game, was always kind of in the highlights for Northwestern, going over to Indiana, who has a new head coach. So that should be a pretty good fit for Miller Kopp.
Mike Woodson coming over from the NBA to Indiana. He played in Indiana. I think he was on that team that won a national championship. Miller Kopp is great. He's nothing flashy, but he is very solid in the middle. And then Severe, I'll never forget seeing him play growing up. He played against my son and Derek, our other co-founder. He coached him. You would never think this guy would have an opportunity to play in the NBA because he was so small. But this dude has put in so much work. And his dad, Teddy Wheeler, has done a tremendous job cultivating, the talents that he has.
And he had a big season last year. I mean, it's not like he's coming. I mean,
dude starts for Georgia.
14 points a game, 7 assists a game. I think about 4 rebounds per game. So I mean, that's a solid line. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what the NBA kind of says. But I think it might be more just a gauging interest kind of thing.
Agreed. Quentin Grimes.
Yeah.
From College Park, another Vype cover boy.
He's definitely getting drafted.
Made a run in the NCAA tournament, of course.
And lost to who?
He lost to Baylor. Well, everybody lost to Baylor.
Everybody lost to Baylor.
I'm done.
Are you done now? Are you done? Do we need to kick you out of the room?
Jackson Moffitt, the Magnolia boy.
Yeah.
That's right.
The Magnolia.
Is he part of Team Mullet?
He is Mullet. Oh, yeah, he's Mullet.
Man, those Baylor Mullets are outrageous.
Yes. He got to actually get on the court for the last 1 minute of the game in the national championship game. We'll probably talk about that forever.
Oh, no, you're talking about L.J. Cryer.
No. Well, LJ Cryer did too.
LJ got on. I thought
and
Moffitt.
So did Jackson Moffitt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of that had the mullet? I thought the mullet guy was a big player.
He is. There's 2 of them.
That's right. Matthew Meyer, who went to Austin Westlake.
Okay. Meyer.
Correct. And I think somebody was saying, maybe you're telling me this, Josh, that Meyer might be the first ever high school
kid from Austin
to
win a national championship. Yeah. There was some Twitter chatter about that.
Wow.
Potentially.
He actually entered the NBA draft as well, but kind of like Severe, keeping the eligibility. Jared Butler's probably going to do the same thing. Yeah. He'll probably get drafted.
Yeah, they just all gauge it and see. I mean, if they're not a guaranteed pick, then they're like, okay.
The Mitchell kid is outrageous.
Dude,
he's so good.
Dude, he's a first-round NBA draft pick, right?
He made himself a lot of money in that tournament.
Good. He has to be.
His first step is so fast.
So physical, man. He's physical.
So we were talking spring sports.
Yeah. Hang on, let me circle back on one thing.
Okay.
Brandon Smeltzer.
Okay, Smeltzer. Okay.
Smeltzer is the new head coach at Concordia Lutheran Volleyball. He coached Houston Juniors. Nope, that's all right. He coached TAV.
Okay,
TAV. They're really big teams. Anyways, he's a new coach at Concordia Lutheran Volleyball. Go ahead.
Continuing on. Spring sports. This is my 30-second spring sports wrap. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You ready for this? Here we go. Houston soccer finished up this past week. Kingwood Park makes it to the state championship. First time since 2010. They fall short to Wakeland 3-2. It was Wakeland's third state championship in 4 years. Kingwood Park, the only Houston soccer team to get to the state championship match. So that was that for soccer.
That was it. Okay.
And one might argue that Memorial would have had a better chance of beating Vandergrift, except they had some key injuries against Cinco Ranch in the regional final game. So that's why some would say, not me, but some might say that they lost.
Some would say
Vandergrift.
Some would say.
Yeah, Josh W. and I, we did a soccer show yesterday with Lethal Enforcer, who's helping us out this year.
Yeah.
And he was saying that the best teams came on top. In every boys and girls region, the games weren't very close because the best team wins, and really that's kind of what you want.
The Hyatt Hill Country dominated
Bernie,
soccer.
Dripping Springs, Lee. Yeah, it was big. It was big
and
time.
And then the DFW Metroplex as well. Wakeland, as you mentioned.
Yep.
Louisville, one of the Louisville ISD schools won. Flower Mound, I believe.
Flower Mound, yeah.
Yep, won the 6A level. So, and I forgot who won 4A. It was Midlothian Heritage won 4A.
Okay, well done, well done.
Thank you, sir.
Well, soccer minutes.
And your soccer wrap. So soccer's going on. Other spring sports. So
good.
Wrestling is finishing up this week.
What did you say?
I said wrestling. Wrestling, which usually happens back in February, but due to the pandemic, they pushed it back and everything like that.
I call it wrestling.
Wrestling. So wrestling state championships will happen this week, Friday and Saturday, inside the Berry Center here in Houston, Texas.
You'll be on the ground, correct?
I will be on the ground. I will be there for.
When is that?
Friday at 5:30 is the Parade of Champions.
This Friday.
This Friday. So 5A boys and girls will happen. Boys and girls state championship wrestling will happen Friday. Kind of keys to watch there. Foster always has a bunch of. I mean, Foster is like just so dominating in wrestling.
I know, it's weird.
Like they have a freshman girl that's in the state championships. Like they just continue cultivating the culture over there is just phenomenal what they do at Foster. And then of course Kingwood Park has a girl going for her second straight state championship. She won the first ever in school history last year. And then on Saturday, 6A, you'll be watching probably Katy. Katy boys always have a really good team put together in wrestling. So it'll be interesting. So I'll be there for the championship matches on Friday and Saturday.
Sean Fitzpatrick, another Concordia Lutheran star. He's committed to Arkansas, who's the #1 team in the country in college baseball. Threw a no-hitter the other day against St. Thomas. Kudos to him. Just a junior. He's also big. If you follow us on TikTok, go follow us on Vype Houston 001 or Vype Texas 001. He blew up our TikTok too.
He did.
Throwing with cowboy.
Do you think
he's our cowboy?
Do you think he threw the no-hitter with the cowboy boots on?
Probably not.
It's amazing how many views a slow-mo pitcher in cowboy boots can get.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah. There's a little beef because like his girlfriend was on it. And she was like, "Oh my God, stop talking about my boyfriend." It was hilarious.
Is that how she sounded?
On
TikTok?
On TikTok.
Okay.
That's what she sounded like. Number one. Number two. Team TikTok is Lake Creek softball. Prediction. They're going to get to the state Final Four. I don't know if they're going to win it, but they're going to get out of this region, which is a hard region.
Yeah.
With Barbers Hill and Santa Fe and Foster. But they're legit.
Foster's playing some unbelievable softball.
Dude, I'm going to tell you something.
What you got?
These girls can ball. Emily Kennedy is like 6'2" pitcher who is lefty is gas. But they hit the ball so well. They have a leadoff hitter that went 4 for 4 with 4 steals and like 4 runs at the game I was at.
The collision course we're all waiting for is them and Leander. That's the collision course we're waiting on.
Yeah, that's in the state finals or state.
It's either state Final Four. But that's essentially what we're all waiting on. But coming out of the region, Lake Creek and Barbers Hill potentially could be a battle.
Think about this,
which will be fun.
They're in their 3rd year of varsity softball. They've never won a playoff game, never. And they come from a school that is named for 2 bodies of water, Lake and Creek.
That's a take. Boom. Would that be the first time ever 2 bodies of water have won the state championship?
I'm going to say yes.
Yeah. I will say this, Matt.
Worldwide. Yes.
Hot take, posting it on our YouTube page that Lake Creek is Vype's #1 team when Leander is the #1 softball team in the country.
I'm just saying. They're in Houston. In Houston.
All right.
Yeah, we don't do. Hey, that can be in Josh W's San Antonio rankings or Austin rankings.
Yeah,
wherever Leander is.
They are there, which are dropping today.
Oh,
we'll see.
Dropping today.
Who else is good in that area though?
Leander.
Dripping Springs is always pretty good in softball as well.
They ain't no good.
I think Bowie's got a good squad, too.
Other Houston teams that are playing really well, Katy softball is playing really well this year, and they have 2 freshmen who are, by the way, at our photo shoot, who are showing why they are freshmen on varsity at Katy softball. So one of them was in our top 21 players to watch for the year. Very proud of that.
Interesting.
So softball is wrapping up district play like this week, so we'll start playoffs for that. Track and field. Okay, Matt, why do track and field videos go viral? Like
they do.
is there any like rhyme or like football videos do it, but track and field videos they seem like Matthew Bowling like 2 years ago broke our Twitter account.
Yes.
Literally at 1.5 million views. This girl Cameron Dixon, who I wrote about yesterday, her video of her 200-meter dash got like 18,000 views. The Summer Creek kid jumping got like 12,000 views.
Yeah.
Why? I asked our viral president.
I think because they're really short videos and they're great feats.
Yeah.
And they don't have any pads on.
Yeah.
Like you'd see them. Like man, I can maybe do that. But
because it's like, but it's also ridiculous like feats of like she ran a 200-meter dash in 23.48 seconds. It's the fastest time in the country.
It's awesome.
That could be part of it.
See,
too.
that's the deal. Like if you're the number one person in the country, people are like, wow, they take interest in that.
Like Bryce Foster. Bryce Foster, literally every time he throws, he's setting some new national record. Like his discus throw right now is 210 feet, 10 inches.
For him and like the Pipperies, they actually need to throw heavier discuses and balls. What if they were handicapped and they said, hey, you've got to throw a heavier ball?
He would still throw it that far. Bryce Foster could literally his name on Twitter is like Mountain Man or whatever. Yeah. Like he could move a mountain. Like he has so currently if his number, if he throws it at state, the 210, that would break the state record. The state record's 208. National record's like 236, which is just ridiculous. But
Texas
then
A&M football recruit, offensive lineman.
Signee on the offensive line. And he'll also win state in the shot put. He's cleared 71 feet with that. But to get the state record, I think he's like 4 feet off.
Dang. Wow, that's power. So in weeks to come, we'll be talking about spring football, which we're fired up about. High school-wise, because a lot of teams are having spring, which is very exciting.
They're like releasing the schedules on Twitter right now. It's making me very excited.
I know,
like
dude,
I had someone text me the other day about spring games, like when their spring games are going to be. I'm like, we talking spring games?
I'll be there.
Let's go. You're gonna be at the North Shore spring game.
Yes,
we know where you're gonna be at.
I mean, who wouldn't be? So okay, we've talked about the NFL, the WNBA, coaching changes, track, soccer, softball, baseball. Man, we covered a lot in this short amount of time. Scotty T, producer extraordinaire, have we missed anything?
I think we have hit it all. Regional track meet is also this weekend. So those who run fast and throw far will be at the state meet, which is just a couple weeks away.
Yep, 2 weeks away in Austin.
It's at the end of the school year. To your point, spring football's around the corner. School year, what a year it's been.
Yeah, you have state wrestling this weekend. Next weekend, we will be broadcasting Greater Houston area girls all-star game, which is very exciting.
Yep.
It's going to be very exciting. I have some cool things to do with that. The weekend after that will be state track. And then, there's like 3 more state championships in May.
And don't forget, coming out in June will be our Vype Awards, our maybe 4th or 5th annual. I should probably know that. But
I think it's 4th.
Yeah, 4th annual Vype Awards is going to be fire again. So keep grinding out there, my people.
Matt's getting his tan on. He's getting ready.
Can we talk do we need any talk about any shows in which we are liking right now?
Any shows?
Last Chance U basketball.
Oh, how was it?
Powerful.
That popped up on my Netflix the other day.
You need to watch that. Powerful. Team out of California.
Oh, Last Chance U? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like on.
I won't tell
I'm
you
on
how
episode 3.
It's not great, but it
never ends great. Well,
JUCO sports are
sometimes
hard.
It does.
Very hard. So that's big. What else you watching?
What else am I watching? Really not too much right now.
American Idol is great right now.
No way. Yeah, it was good in 2005.
Don't knock it till you try it. Okay? It's amazing.
Idol. Okay.
Still on the Narcos grind.
What am I watching? Falcon and the Winter Soldier on Disney Plus. Dude, it's so good. I'm telling you. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm also watching the new Mighty Ducks.
Yes.
What
Yeah.
Bringing it back to sports.
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks. Coach Bombay.
Coach Bombay's back.
He's back.
Matt,
how do you feel about
Matt can't hear me, but what happened to Don't Knock It Till You Try It?
I feel like I've been there, done that with the Mighty Ducks series. You know what I'm saying? It's like Coach Bombay just...
Is he a player?
I don't know.
No, he's the coach.
I got to be careful.
No, is he a player?
I got to be careful what I say here.
Okay.
We are live. But, yeah, Disney Plus, and also there's a new John Stamos.
Yeah, the basketball one.
Called The Big Shot, I believe. Mm-hmm. That's on Disney Plus.
I need to start watching that.
Yeah.
What the heck are you watching all this Disney Plus stuff?
Because Disney Plus is awesome.
I'm sucked into it.
Scott, tell him what happened to Don't Knock It Till You Try It.
Or Mandalorian or something like that?
Mandalorian.
Well, look, The Bachelor is off air at the moment, so I need
I'm never
Plus.
watching The Bachelor again.
Well, you say that every year.
That was so bad.
No, you say that every year, and then when the new season comes out, you go, oh, okay, I'll give it a try.
The Bachelor, their window closed.
It's slammed shut.
Oh, gosh, it's a wrap.
Josh W. says, don't knock it till you try it.
What?
Disney Plus?
Disney Plus?
Disney Plus, yeah.
I know.
Come on, man.
Maybe.
Where you been at?
You're just not into like all of that Disney. Like you're not
All
big
American right now is back on. It's really good. Queen of the South.
Yeah, so he's a big Netflixer.
I'm also watching Schitt's Creek at the moment.
I haven't.
I
haven't started watching.
We're watching that. We're watching.
It's really funny.
We're watching that the second time through. Like we've watched it once already. Now we're just
like, that good?
It's hilarious. Like it's so funny.
Ew, Mala.
Maybe I should watch that. No, but I've heard so much about it. They're like 30-minute shows, right? They're kind of short.
You can knock it out very quickly.
Yeah,
so
like
15, 16 episodes, all 25 to 30 minutes long.
Yeah. For all your high schoolers out there, like, my daughter's watching Revenge. Do you remember watching Revenge when it was actually like a regular show on TV?
Oh,
it's on Netflix
with Emily Van Camp.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Is that the one where is that the one where it's like the beach thing or whatever, the beach house? Like that show got so stupid so late.
But
it just was ridiculous.
It's coming. It's circling back for people.
Is it really?
Oh yeah. On Netflix.
Do you know why? Because the main character is also in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is really popular right now.
That is yeah.
Also, the new Loki series is coming out on Disney Plus. Man, you gotta get on board.
When is Loki coming out?
Next month, I believe.
Next month?
Next month.
I'm just waiting for Obi-Wan.
Bro, can't wait.
It's going to be
also,
amazing.
There's a Downton Abbey 2 movie is coming out in December.
Has anybody here watched The Crown?
Yes.
Is it amazing?
It's good. It's good.
Watch it with subtitles, man. I'm a big subtitles guy now.
Not me. Subtitles
I can't read and watch at the same time.
If anybody's watching right now, will you chime into the chat and let us know if you watch movies with subtitles? Because I do it.
I know someone that does. Like, one of my wife's friends does it.
Especially
and I'm like,
those with accents, like English and British accent, or an Australian, whatever. I gotta have the subtitles.
That's like Swamp People.
Well,
no,
that's just Cajun. Nobody understands that.
That's not true. Okay, we have gone off the rails here. Thanks for everybody. Josh W. at the Mother Load in San Antonio on Austin. Where's he at? He's in Austin.
He's in Leander.
Oh, no wonder he loves.
No wonder he's number one.
Yeah, thank you to him for getting us up on the air. Of course, Scotty T, producer extraordinaire.
Got a mic this week.
Also, great takes as well. Josh, of course, who's holding his.
I'm gonna get a stronger mic arm next week.
Hey, this is Matt Malatesta with Vype. We'll see y'all next week on Vype.